Go Green, a Family Matters Earth Day special, is made possible by the following partner.
At Providence Health and Services, we're as committed to the health of our planet as we are to the health of our patients. That's why we're doing our part to support sustainability. Providence knows a healthier world makes for healthier people.
They're all pieces of the solution that we're going to have.
We're going to need to hit it from as many different sides as we can.
Couldn't really imagine our kids not having that connection to where their food comes from.
And so really, once it's all installed, you forget about it.
It becomes a way of life. I think a lot of people love volunteering for that reason. They get to meet like-minded folks.
We learned about composting and green building and green cleaners. I mean, really the works.
We just needed to do something about that. We all have to be responsible.
And we've gotten really creative about it.
Go Green, a Family Matters Earth Day special.
I'm KATU meteorologist Rod Hill, and welcome to Go Green. As you know, everything we do in our daily lives has an impact on the earth. And in the next half hour, we're going to show you steps you can take and things you can do right now to help ease the burden on the environment. It started out as an earth-friendly alternative from the power companies, but now everyday people are taking their own steps to harness the power of the wind.
We have irrigation well, we have greenhouses, ventilation fan, coolers for the produce stand. We use a lot of electricity. A wind turbine, it's a 10 kilowatt wind turbine. We produce about 20% of our usage of electricity with the wind turbine so far with our 9 months of operation. And right now, the month of April has been great because we've been producing about 1,000 kilowatt hours a month.
We recently created a program for small wind, and there's incentives available to help make those investments more affordable. And I think people are becoming more concerned about being energy independent, managing their carbon footprint, and I think that that's really what's motivating people to do this right now.
And that's the reason we chose this system, is because we can see it paying for itself in the long run. It's got to be cost effective. We can read what we've produced. And since operation, we've produced over 5,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. So in our 9 months of operation, we've produced over a month's worth of, on the average, a month's worth of electricity. The electricity that we overproduce becomes a credit on our electric bill. I think it's very viable for businesses, for farms.
I think that small wind, just like other technologies, they're all pieces of the solution that we're going to have. I think that there's a variety of options for all sorts of Oregonians. You know, if you have a stream, maybe micro hydro. If you have property with a lot of wind, potentially small wind is going to be part of the solution.
It is tough to make a living in agriculture, and it's just the wind turbine helps cut the cost. It lightens the load. I feel a penny dropping in my pocket.
Wind turbines are proving to be a great source of power in wide open spaces, but what about here in the city? Let's look at one way wind power can make it to an urban setting.
We think that this is one possible solution, that if we're going to meet the mandates for renewable power that we have in our state and in our country right now, we're going to need to hit it from as many different sides as we can. You can, use one of them to make a small amount of power, but you can also use them, you can use multiples in a wind wall or stack them on top of each other to start getting into macro power. We wanted to make this very accessible to the average person. They're very light, they're easy to install. It, practically could be a do-it-yourself project. The first installation will be at the new light rail station in downtown Portland.
It's going to look terrific. It's going to have 22 turbines spinning on 11 different poles. We anticipate with both a combination of wind energy and solar energy to provide 70% of the power necessary to run the lights and other power requirements for this South Terminus site. For TriMet, we use a lot of electricity to run our trains and our system. So this is an opportunity for us to do something very tangible that would help us explore it for the future.
We have coupled the turbine with a PV panel, and together they power a street light that draws relatively low power because it uses LED lamping. So, very low power, the newest technology in LED lamping. I think one thing that makes them perfect for urban areas is that they respond very well to low wind speeds. So it only takes a wind of about 5 miles an hour to get this spinning and to get it producing power. And it deals very well with turbulent winds. It doesn't really care which direction its wind is coming from. So the types of turbulent winds that you get in cities, it's able to take those winds and use them to produce power. This turbine is really a flag of sustainability. It stands up, it spins, it can be colorful. And so I think that not only is it generating power, but it is making a statement. And I think that they're also getting people interested. Hey, what is that thing? How much power does it produce? So it starts conversations, and we would love to see those conversations intensify and continue.
To learn more about the power of wind and how you can use it, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. It's one of the largest investments you'll make, and it's also one of the largest sources for energy waste. See one of the first steps to reduce your carbon footprint at your own home.
Oh, yeah, you can really feel it. This is cold. So the Home Performance with Energy Star audit is a whole house systems diagnostic testing of a home's performance in terms of comfort, energy efficiency, indoor air quality, and health and safety.
My wife and I were interested in improving our home's conditions, basically, heating and cooling. We laugh because we used to have people over to our house who would complain how drafty and how cold it was, even though it's a pretty new home.
During a home performance review, the auditor is going to come in, they're going to use a lot of specialized equipment, things like a blower door test, duct blasters, infrared cameras, to figure out exactly where the waste is occurring inside the house, and then to help them create this detailed list of specific recommendations on what you can improve.
So they're actually getting a lot of condensation, and there's some mold growth that's happening. So definitely for this house, upgrading the windows to a new high efficiency window is going to be a major recommendation.
Some of the numbers that Sustainable Solutions came out with in terms of how leaky the house was, I think we were surprised at, particularly the duct leakage. The can lights, I guess they call them, the recessed lights, that was pretty surprising how much air was coming in those, and especially the one over the fireplace. That was interesting to see.
We basically, take a holistic look at the house as a total system, and with the goal towards being to make the house as efficient as possible.
The majority of homes are actually energy hogs. We're wasting up to 30% of the energy that we're purchasing. So this is an opportunity to button things up, do something that's good for the environment, and more importantly, good for your pocketbook right now.
To find out how you can set up an energy audit for your home, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There you'll find a complete resource center with information, video, and links to help you go green. We've all seen how the power of the sun can create power for your home. Now let's take a look at the next solar wave that promises to keep the hot water flowing.
I'm concerned about the environment mainly. Saving money is a nice perk along the way, but I decided that it was time to go solar. I was ready.
Most people don't realize that 20 to 30% of the energy they use in their home goes to heating water. So a solar water heating system is going to reduce that portion of your energy use by usually 50 to 75%.
Glycol is a pretty efficient heat conductor, so when it's up there, it collects heat very efficiently, brings it back down, runs it around inside pipes inside this 120-gallon tank, heats up your water. And so really, once it's all installed, you forget about it. It's just there. Turn on the hot water, it's hot water. It's kind of fun to go through the little collector and see how much energy you've gotten. And we've already got 1,153 kilowatt hours out of it. The panels on the west slope up here are collecting the sunlight energy and turning it straight into electricity. So we're not net zero yet. I don't know that we'll ever be able to get there with this house, but this is pretty good for an 1890 house.
I think a lot of people don't realize that solar water heating is even an option. When they think about a solar energy system, the first thing that comes to mind is photovoltaics. And if they've heard of photovoltaics or solar electric systems, they may be turned off by the high upfront cost. Solar water heating systems are a lot more cost effective, and they're really accessible for anybody.
It's not my goal to be totally off the grid in that sense. I like my sort of semi-urban lifestyle. I like being around a lot of people, and I'm just trying to do my part. I think it's a good investment in global warming issues, just sort of lifestyle satisfaction.
To learn more about solar hot water technology, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com.
There's your eggs for breakfast, and there's the creatures that gave them to you. And so it's a little bit of starting the day off with a small taste of gratitude.
At Providence Health and Services, we are as committed to the health of our planet as we are to the health of our patients. That's why we're doing our part to support sustainability.
In the past, people in Providence Hospital cafeterias would empty food trays into the garbage. Now with an eco-friendly program, food waste and paper becomes compost instead of garbage. Compost you can buy at local stores for your garden.
Isn't that amazing? Soil for the plants, and then we'll watch them grow.
Providence Portland Medical Center has earned a silver designation as a bicycle-friendly business by the League of American Bicyclists. It's the only hospital in Oregon to receive this award.
Well, as an employee of Providence, I feel very fortunate for many reasons. One of them is the TriMet Pass that we are provided, which allows not only to save money, but also to help the environment.
Providence is also proud that Providence Newburgh Medical Center is the nation's first hospital to receive the Gold LEED certification.
100% of our energy comes from sustainable processes, hydroelectric, geothermal, and wind. And we're the first one in the country to have that.
In one of the newest ideas for sustainability, Providence Health and Services is safely recycling items that would normally be discarded after one use. Scissors, scrubs, even surgical blades. The items now are re-sterilized and reused under FDA guidelines.
This is a win-win situation because not only is Providence saving money, but we are keeping another piece of plastic out of the landfill.
Locally grown zucchini, potatoes, mushrooms. A 4-star restaurant? No, a 4-star hospital. Providence Health and Services buys as much sustainably grown fruits and vegetables as possible.
Local and sustainable, it goes hand in hand with recycling. It's what we can do. Not only are we getting the best products available for our patients, but we're also using less resources.
Hey, gotta goats! Come here, guys!
And look who's on staff at Providence St. Vincent Medical Center, a small herd of goats on loan from Catlin Gable School. The Goat Patrol helps out hospital groundskeepers by munching on pesky ivy and holly. The invasive plants would kill trees and ground cover plants if left unchecked. One goat can clear about 2,000 square feet of vegetation in 1 month.
They are lifesavers. Very friendly ones.
Sustainability is the right course for Providence and for the communities in which we live and work. At Providence Health and Services, we are committed to making a greener, healthier world.
The environmental movement is seeing the return of simple ideas that support self-sustainability. And we found ways people are creating sustainability in their own backyards.
So we've now just loosened up this first trench. And so now we're ready to start on the second trench.
Growing Gardens is a small nonprofit located in Northeast Portland. This is part of our home garden program. We're building a garden for a woman who's enrolling in our 3-year program where she's getting a garden from us today, and then she'll be assigned a garden mentor who will work with her this year. When we first come to a site, we assess where the best spot for the garden should be based on sun exposure and maybe how close it is to a fence or a wall. Skim off the sod and save it because we want to save the top few inches of topsoil because that's where a lot of the nutrients and microorganisms live. So we just put that aside and then we double dig.
You can either do this with a shovel or this digging fork. And we just want to go down further, another shovel length, and just loosen. Soils in the Pacific Northwest tend to be acidic, so they need to be raised a little bit.
We sheet mulch, so we put down a layer of newspaper and then we alternate green and brown layers of organic matter. We use straw, compost, coffee grounds, leaves, whatever on-site materials they have. I think it's an amazing way to meet people. You have this shared experience. I think a lot of people love volunteering for that reason. They get to meet like-minded folks. There are so many barriers to having a garden. We hope that by providing all these types of support over 3 years that the gardeners will become self-sufficient. And so they'll be able to grow their own food and incorporate more healthy, fresh vegetables into their diet, making their own compost, mulching with on-site materials, just learning how to garden in an affordable way.
For more information about growing gardens, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. They're popping up in neighborhoods just like yours, and it's bringing another farming concept back to the backyard.
And I think we started thinking about them once we had kids. I grew up in the suburb, my wife grew up on a farm, and so it was kind of like both of us had our own reasons for wanting it. For me, it was something that I didn't grow up with, and not just chickens, but growing our own food and sort of getting reconnected to that. And for her, it was exactly that. It was sort of, she did it as a kid and couldn't really imagine our kids not having that connection to where their food comes from. Being able to come out in the morning, there's an egg, there's your eggs for breakfast, and there's the creatures that gave them to you. And so it's a little bit of starting the day off with a small taste of gratitude.
Last time we received 100 chicks and sold 90 of them in the first day. Apparently the hobby is just exploding. It's mostly families with young children, I would say, is the most common demographic.
So this is the coop, and it's an integrated hen house and run. It's really pretty easy. I think that was another misconception that we had, was that it would take a lot of maintenance. And for us, it really hasn't been a lot. You know, we come out in the morning, we'll change their water, make sure they have fresh water, we'll check their eggs, and that's pretty much it on a daily basis. Come on, chickies. We may let them out to sort of roam. They've got a closed-in yard outside of the coop that they can kind of scratch in and give them other things, you know, more interesting things to peck at. You really can't match this quality. I think in my lifetime, I've only had eggs this good once before, and that was buying them direct from a farm. We've got enough chickens now to supply our family of 4 with a good amount of eggs, and we're gonna probably add a few more chickens just to have some to share.
And chickens have been raised in the city going back just not too long ago, before World War II. It was a common sight in cities like Portland to have chickens in the city. So it's kind of back to the future a little bit.
For more information about raising chickens or to learn how to make your own chicken coop, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. And we want to hear about the ways you go green. Email your own earth-friendly ideas to gogreen@katu.com.
We offer an alternative for corporations to not only get rid of their waste, but also to save things from the landfill.
Welcome to the Providence Cancer Center. I'm Lisa Vance, the Chief Executive here at Providence Portland Medical Center, and I'd like to show you what's inside.
The new Providence Cancer Center on the campus of Providence Portland Medical Center is a center of healing and hope, where elements of nature are as important as the latest technology.
The focus of this building, in fact, more than half of the square footage in this building will be dedicated to cancer services. So we have our inpatient beds, we have radiation oncology, we have infusion services where patients could get chemo. So all of the services that are for treatment and diagnosis are in this building.
It was very important to make it as home-like as we possibly could. As we were looking at designing this unit, color was very important for our patients. Quite a few studies were looked at to determine what would be best soothing, calming, and healing for our patients.
The Cancer Center was designed even as far as the light and the space and the flow and how patients come through the building to make sure that they get access to everything that they may need when they're going through their cancer treatment. So even the garden level was built so that it has light, natural light coming in.
Beyond the colors and the light was also the sense of art. And that also plays a role in what we believe helps people relax. It just adds to the ambiance of restfulness and hopefully stress reduction. It's more than bricks and mortar. It's thousands of people who have put all their impressions together on what should really be happening for the patient. And I'm really excited to see the future of cancer treatment and hopefully someday a cure for cancer.
Hi there, my name is Carl Grimm and I'm the Natural Gardening and Toxics Reduction Specialist at Metro, your regional government, and I'm here to talk a little bit about organic lawn care. The first easiest step is grass cycling or mulch mowing. Set your mower at the highest setting probably, which is about 3 inches for most grasses. This is great because it shades the grass in the summertime, keeping it more healthy. Grass cycling is also great because you don't have to rake your lawn clippings or bag them. and instead you can let them lie on the lawn and they break down over time, adding nutrients. Many weeds actually are beneficial for the soil and most don't hurt anything, and so you may consider just letting them be. However, if you're looking for a more clean, manicured look, just dig the root out as deep as possible. But the most important thing about weeding is once you get the weed out, you need to overseed and add a little bit of top dressing so that the grass grows back thick and keeps the weeds from growing later. After weeding, it's a great idea at least once a year to overseed your entire lawn with grass seed and then top dress. But before you do that, you might want to do a little bit of thatch raking, rough up the soil so it can receive the grass seed better. And then you sprinkle the seed out, and then you sprinkle a little bit of weed seed-free compost on top. The grass grows up thick and strong, and thick, strong grass is the best weed killer. The next step is watering, and the first thing you might want to do is use a rain gauge or a tuna can to determine how quickly your sprinklers deliver water to your soil. So you put that in the soil, you turn your sprinklers on, and you see how long it takes to get 1 inch of water. That's the amount of water that a lawn needs to stay green in the summer. You can have a great looking, all organic lawn that's not only green in color, but green in spirit.
Most businesses have it, old outdated supplies just piling up, and most of the time all this stuff goes straight to the landfill. Well, there's a local place that takes unwanted supplies and gives them a new life.
The acronym is School and Community Reuse Action Project. Scrap was inspired by a couple of teachers who were just loath to throw away the materials that their classroom wasn't using after a craft project. So they decided to start saving them and putting them on a common table for other teachers to use. We get a lot of unusual items at Scrap because lots of manufacturers and corporations and people cleaning out their craft closets are bringing in their stuff. And so it's never the same store. Any given day you can find things like fencing masks, dental x-rays, you might find squirrel tails.
This year, for the first time, I had the parents, instead of buying supplies at the store, I had them go to Scrap and buy like a bag of scrap. And so we ended up with yarn and fabric and some wonderful projects that evolved from that. Here at the classroom, we talk a lot about reduce, reuse, recycle. The kids save things that we use in the art table. We've got tweezers from scrap we use in the science area. We've got puzzle pieces, all sorts of things from scrap, because that way the kids are learning that we don't just throw things away. You know, they still have other uses.
We offer an alternative for corporations to not only get rid of their waste, but also to save things from the landfill. This is an absolute fantasy land for teachers. When they discover scrap and they understand that they can purchase $5 worth of materials for a whole class project, it's very exciting for them.
They are learning to create, but that means a lot of waste. So this way we're not wasting. And actually, as many of the parents will tell you, is after the kids bring things home, they frequently end up back at scrap again. So it's keep it going.
Our ultimate goal would be that there would be a creative reuse center in every home, in every school, in every business, that people would collect the things that normally they would throw away and find creative ways of using them.
And it just becomes a way of life. Like kids that are already riding their bikes to school, it becomes a way of life. So if you know to go to scrap instead of store to buy your things that you're going to do, it just becomes natural.
To learn more about scrap, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. They teach their kids and their readers that everyone can make a difference. Meet two moms who went online to help save planet Earth.
My name is Renee Lamone.
And I'm Heather Hawkins, and we co-founded the website EnviroMom.com. We decided that it was time for us to change our ways, our consumptive, energy guzzling ways.
We were already doing a little bit of blogging, and so we decided, hey, let's take this topic, call it EnviroMom. We share our very typical American experiences and then how we're changing.
We pose a lot of questions to our readers and they come back with answers and ideas and suggestions.
Heather was actually the first to suggest a simpler, greener birthday party for her oldest daughter a couple of years ago.
What we wanted to do was put the emphasis on having fun, because really that's what birthday parties should be about, being with your friends and just having a really good time. And she got excited because I said, hey, you get to design all of the games yourself. You know, what do you want to do? And so she came up with this monkey theme, and we went to Scrap, the art reuse center, and got materials to make beanbag toss and pin the tail on the monkey, and you know, just kind of those old-fashioned games which the kids loved. There's a lot of different alternatives to the traditional gift wrap. Most parents of preschoolers know they come home with gobs of art. So what we've ended up doing is saving some of the larger pieces to use as wrapping paper, which makes it very festive.
4s, 5s, tiny pieces of scrap metal.
We're really basically kind of journaling our own journeys and encouraging other people to take baby steps, just like we're doing. Focus on one small change, make it a habit, implement it, make it part of your life, and then move on to the next thing so that you don't get overwhelmed.
To learn more about the EnviroMoms or how you can become a master recycler, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com.
Henry was really sick about a year ago. The ER, lots of hospital visits, lots of doctors. It was really overwhelming. One thing we never had to worry about was Providence, our health insurance. They were really there for us. They made us feel safe.
Providence Health Plans, providing health insurance and peace of mind.
And Henry, he's doing great now.
We're here in Portland at one of Metro's waste transfer stations, and much of the trash that's headed to the landfill comes from local businesses. To reduce the waste, we've learned of unique employees helping their own companies go green.
Every 30 minutes of the business day, Portland area businesses throw away 20 tons of paper. So this is an opportunity for them to start tackling that and seeing how they can get more of that material out of the waste and into the recycling bins. We created Recycle at Work to help give them the tools and resources they need to divert that material. When businesses are trying to tackle sustainability initiatives, the first important step is to identify a recycling champion.
You know, drivers live in their cars. They eat out of there, they drink coffee, they, you know, create all this garbage. We just needed to do something about that. We all have to be responsible.
We are an importer of ingredients for chefs. We import it from all over the world. The owner said, let's really green this place up.
What I started seeing was all this buildup of plastics in the building, basically, and a need for a program to be rolled out.
We recycle all the hard styrofoam. We collect up all of the wood waste and take that out to a wood shredder. We removed most of the garbage cans in the warehouse.
Well, this is our main recycle with you know, paper and plastic. This is the glass only. These are bottles and cans.
And we have our central recycling of mix. We have 2 of the mixed recycling containers that go curbside each week.
So lots of opportunities there. People are inspired by seeing the amount of waste that's being created and inspired by the opportunity to tackle that and start pulling that material out and getting it to the recycling bin.
We've only scratched the surface of the ways we can ease the burden on our planet. For more information, go to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There you'll find a complete resource center with links, video clips, and information to help you go green. For K2 and Family Matters, I'm Rod Hill. Good night.
Fisher Communications.